Have you ever struggled to sing a high note? Because I have. Now, what's the first thing that singers do when a note won't come out? They push more air. They create more pressure. They try and support harder. They try and force their voice up there. But here's the problem. Pushing more pressure up against your vocal folds creates a nerve reflex which actually thickens your vocal folds. Think about that for a second. Now, a high note is a fast note. Your vocal folds vibrate faster to create the high vibration of the higher note, right? Now, do you think that thickening your vocal folds is a good way to make that happen? Of course not. Now, most singers don't realize that there's actually two different pitching mechanisms in your voice. There's one that you mostly use when you're speaking, and there's one you're meant to be using when you sing. And when you trigger the wrong system at the wrong time, at the wrong place in your range, it doesn't matter how many exercises you do, doesn't matter how many magic tricks or funny sounds you pick up on YouTube, those high notes will continue to stay out of reach for you until you fix what I'm about to share with you in this video. I'm Keegan from Foundation Vocal Method, author of Reset Your Voice. And in this video, I'm going to show you the physical reason why you haven't been progressing as a singer, even though you might have been practicing like crazy and trying everything under the sun. Now, pitch doesn't come from pressure. High notes don't come from more pressure or the ability or being strong enough to push more air against your vocal folds. Higher notes come from tension. We have a tensioning system in the voice which stretches the vocal folds, just like these guitar pegs right here. If I turn this guitar tuner, it tightens the string and the note gets higher. And your voice works in much the same way. Now, the system we're actually looking for as singers is called the cricothyroid. It's not just a muscle, there's ligaments, there's a joint, there's cartilage, there's a whole system here. And this system is actually underneath your larynx. Now, when you're going for a higher note, right? Hey, and you're focusing upwards, or you're focusing right where you feel like your vocal folds are here in the larynx, right? You're creating that thickening system. You're creating that thickening reflex in your voice. Hey, and I need to bring my belly in to really counter that pressure or support that pressure. It's not going to work. What we need to do, there's actually two steps to this. What we actually need to do is direct underneath the larynx. This is a completely different muscle to the one that I was using before. Beforehand, the TA muscles came in and thickened my folds. They can't vibrate fast enough. I clips the range. Second system, I just start tensioning the vocal folds. Now, this all starts at the diaphragm. Now, when your diaphragm is pushing up and creating pressure up against the vocal folds, there's a nerve signal sent to the larynx that you want to thicken the vocal folds. It basically counters that pressure with thickness. So when you clench the abs, clench the belly, you get that reflex. It's basically a primitive threat response. If a bear jumped out at you, what would be your response? Or being in Australia, 9 of the world's most 10 deadly snakes. I'm sure they're in my garden right now. If I see one of those snakes, shit! I'm not going to be like, ooh, right? So this system actually gets inhibited. Our pitching system, the cricothyroid, gets inhibited when we have that threat response. So what we need to do is basically get our diaphragm into that state. Like we're chilled, we're having a nice social, happy time. We're spending time with our kids. It's just heaven, man. It's really great. Hey. You see, the CT muscle via the superior laryngeal nerve is actually triggered by the vagus nerve. So your central nervous system has a lot more to do with singing than you probably realize, which is why you've probably done every exercise under the sun, but nothing really tracks. Nothing really fixes the problem on a deeper level because you're triggering the wrong system with your diaphragm. Now, the CT muscle itself, where your collarbones are, if you place your finger here in the trachea notch, don't push, you don't need to do anything physical here. Just place your finger here in this little dip here, all right? If we make a falsetto sound, just a high sound on an ooh, right? Ooh, 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 ooh. Can you feel those ligaments coming forward? It's very subtle. This is our CT ligaments. This is me tensioning the vocal folds. Ooh. Now, I'm not going, right? You might have to do that slightly higher than I'm doing it there to feel that, right? Now, the simplest way to practice this and really get that basic muscle memory in there, if you can find that stretch, I'm not going, we find our normal voice, and we connect the two. Do you see how that's become one voice? Just working on that in a very basic level creates the muscle memory in the background that then you can build upon. Now, I know what your next question is. But Keegan, I can't sing a Creedence Clearwater Revival song like that. I wanna know. I'm gonna get kicked out of the band. And you're absolutely right. The way to take that next step forward with your singing is learning to proactively bring in this CT muscle when you're singing in full voice. Instead of backing it off into falsetto. I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain? I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain coming down on a sunny day? Now, the most common way to engage the CT muscle and work on this, and this is why most people struggle with this, because this doesn't automatically get engaged when you do scales. You can do as many scales and arpeggios as you like, right? It's never going to bring in the CT muscle unless you create the right tonal reflex in your voice. It's largely involuntary. So what we're looking for is a slight cry in the sound, right? So instead of pushing up, hey, I'm getting thicker. I can't hit the pitch. What we want to do is make it sad. Hey, hey. You see, this triggers a completely different system for me. Pushing up. Hey, I got to bring in my belly. We create that upwards pressure response. The vocal folds thicken. No good. Keep it out. We're chilling with the kids on Sunday or hanging out with your mates or doing whatever you do. You're painting a beautiful picture or something like that. Keep your diaphragm out like that. It's a... All right, we don't want that primitive threat response. Diaphragm out. We want that slight cry. Hey, hey. And the more you practice this, if we take this up higher, hey, no one's going to hear you actually adding in that cry inflection in there. So you don't need to be scared of that sound. So number one, let's recap how to practice this. Number one, put your finger here, trachea notch between your collarbones. Play around with that sound up the top. You might have to try this higher than I'm doing that there. We want to feel that those ligaments slightly moving there. You want to find your normal voice. Very gently. You want to connect it as one with no yodel or no break there. And when you're actually singing songs, instead of going into falsetto, I want to know. What we want to do is sing in our full voice, and instead of pushing up, we want to bring in our sad cry, man. I want to know, have you ever seen the rain? I want to know, have you ever seen the rain coming down on a sunny day? Are you hearing that sad cry there as I bring in the CT muscle and tension my vocal folds to pitch instead of I and being unable to hit those notes? Now, getting your pitching system wrong is just one of 12 vocal progress killers which are holding you back from your full potential as a singer. To make this really, really easy for you, what I've done is created a 12 vocal progress killers cheat sheet, which you can download for free right now. And you can start ticking these off your list. I've been doing that. Oh my God, I've been doing that. Ooh, I didn't know about that. It's really straight to the point and streamlined. And there's some optional free video training that comes with it as well. Hit this link right here to download your free 12 vocal progress killers cheat sheet. Make sure you're engaging that cry. Make sure you're going for the CT muscle. Make sure you're keeping that diaphragm out instead of creating the primitive threat response. And you can actually start working towards the high notes that have been out of reach. I'm Keegan from Foundation Vocal Method. We are definitely gonna talk soon.